28th, and a quorum is present. The Minnesota State Education Finance Committee will now come to order. Today we're going to be hearing from the Intermediate District Teacher Registration Apprentice Program that we funded in this past biennium. And then we're going to hear Senate File 949 from Senator Maye Quade before closing with an update on the special education student-teacher teacher-student scholarship at the University of St. Thomas that has run into a bit of a kerfuffle. The legislation that we're going to be hearing, or we're going to be reviewing today, really is focusing on the shortage of special education teachers. And this shortage, like we have heard for years, can be attributed to a lot of different factors, including the increasing demand for special education services, the high turnover rates, the challenging nature of the work. And so I'm really proud of the work that we've done over the past 2 years to recruit and retain more SPED teachers through incentives and training programs and support initiatives. Is this one the first part or the second part? Okay. So we are going to hear in just one moment let me look here. Here we go. All right. We're going to start hearing from the intermediate districts teachers, and our first testifier is Dr. Valray Bowe, the Superintendent, Intermediate School District 916. And then we'll hear from Dr. Jeff Horton, Superintendent of Intermediate District 288. And then Dr. Michael Favor, Superintendent of Intermediate School District 917. If you'd like to join us up at the testifying desk, and when you are ready, you can state your name and begin.
Would you like to start, Tony? Or you need to see yourselves? Can you see yourself first?
Good morning, Chair Kunish and members of the committee. My name is Valray Bowe, and I am the Superintendent of Intermediate District 916. I'm here with my colleagues from the 4 intermediates, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to share a little bit more about the Intermediate Teacher Registered Apprenticeship Collaborative, or ITRAC, which we'll refer to it as here as we go through the presentation. I want to let you know that collectively, the 4 intermediates provide services to 45 school districts across the greater metro and metro areas. I'm going to also have my colleague, Jeff, introduce himself because we're going to kind of go back and forth during the presentation.
Right. Good morning, Madam Chair, Senators. I am Dr. Jeff Horton. I am the Superintendent of Intermediate District 288. Excited to be here today and to share a little bit about the work that we're doing. Thank you very much for the opportunity to start this program in the last legislative session for the last biennium. I hope today that we can report on some of the results of that. You gave us an opportunity to try some things. We believe in delivering on those results and the accountability that comes with that. So we're excited to show you what has happened today.
And you'll see a picture of our apprentices up there on our presentation. I've got a couple of them sitting next to me with a journey, or one sitting next to me with a journey worker, and you'll hear from them in just a minute. But before we do that, we'd like to share with you our celebration video from our launch this fall as we launched Minnesota's first registered teacher apprenticeship program. So, Jeff, if you could play our celebration video.
I've worked in special education for 20 years, and I've always wanted to get my teaching license. What held me back is I am a single mom to 3 kids, and that just was an opportunity. Now my kids are older, they are teenagers, and this program came along that allows me to finally fulfill that dream that I wanted to do forever. The reason this is such a great program for me is that I am able to do a lot of on-the-job work, training. I'm able to do my classes hybrid. So I am able to carve out time for work, kids, sports, school, and make everything work. We have a teacher shortage that has to be addressed. This program has taken me from, possibly becoming a teacher 4 or 5 years from now to becoming a licensed teacher in 2 years. It's a financially sustainable option for me. I've been able to reduce some of the jobs that I'm working, and I'm able to increase how much effort I'm putting into learning and becoming a really good educator. I have really good relationships with my kids. I've been the support person for them these last few years. So for me to now move in as their educator, as their case manager, some of that groundwork, that really important foundation of having a relationship is already there.
So my name is Kendra Davis. I work for District 288. I've been in the educational field for about, I want to say like 10 years off and on now. I wouldn't be able to go to college and support myself at the same time unless I was in iTrack.
I'm Natalie Tim, and I'm with District 287, North Education Center, and I've been a ESP for 2 years. Getting that chance to already be in the classroom and then work towards that license while being in the classroom, I think will be a big help.
The consistent theme that I've seen throughout all the apprentices is that they want to help the kids. It hasn't been about them wanting to be teachers. It's always been about, I want to help the kids. I know I can make a difference. And I think we have a really good group of people that can make that difference in education. I think that this program, specifically with paraprofessionals, has really highlighted on everything we want to do. I mean, a lot of us became paras because we wanted to be teachers, but now that we have that pathway, now we can. I remember hearing about this opportunity and just not believing it, because there's no way that I could get my college paid for. I could work and make money and also meet people that are very like-minded to me. So this program does mean a lot because it's giving back to the people that do want to be in the field, but for our own reasons and barriers, we couldn't, but now we can. And I think the group of people that we have, we're all very like-minded. We all have a story, we have a why, and getting to know everyone has been amazing. I mean, just to hear where everyone has come from and how they got here and why they're thankful for this opportunity has really hit home because it's special to each one of us for different reasons.
All right, thank you for giving us a minute to share with you our celebration video. This partnership was really a collaboration between the intermediates and others that I have to recognize at this time because building this was truly a partnership. Our sponsor is Brightworks, and Minnesota State University Mankato has been a phenomenal partner in building this work, as well as the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry. We also have to acknowledge and recognize the local unions that have partnered with us throughout the process. So we're really proud of what we've built and the partnerships that we have, and really looking forward to continuing those partnerships. So why apprenticeship? As you mentioned, Senator Kunish, we are in a teacher shortage. For intermediates, it's at the crisis level for highly qualified special education teachers. As you know, our intermediates serve students with the most significant needs and challenges, and there's a shortage of the highly qualified teachers in our special education environments. As you can see there, the alarming challenge or difference between the statewide average and intermediates. The other thing I want to point out is that as an intermediate district and setting 4, teachers have to have that categorical license of EBD and ASD to be able to continue to teach in our setting 4 programs. Most of the teacher prep programs will provide our licensed teachers coming out with a academic behavior strategist license, which is built for the mild to moderate disabilities, and as you know, we serve students with severe disabilities, and so they're underprepared when they come to us, and then we eventually have to ask them to go back to get that categorical license of EBD and ASD. And this program, this model, allows us to help them, help our paraprofessionals build that licensure in the 2 years that they're with us in the cohort.
And while we do see a statewide decline in students in public education, the data for students receiving special education services, and especially some of these high-need programs, is actually increasing. So we have an interesting dynamic happening here that we have to try to study and understand. Coming in to being the new superintendent of 288, we had over 1/3 of our positions open on July 1st when I started. We have 37% of our teachers on Tier 1, Tier 2, or out-of-field permissions. I have 70%, almost 70% of my staff in their first 3 years of experience, and my turnover rate is over 25%. And so you can imagine the challenges that we're facing, and as a superintendent walking in trying to support our staff and our students and 17 member and associate member districts to meet the needs of students, it's challenging. And I will have to say, having done and grow your own programs for over a decade and seen a lot of different programs, this program is getting results, and I think you really have a model from which to work through. And I want to just be very fair and understand the budget constraints that we're all working through and all the challenges you have and all the asks coming from the public. And thank you for all your work, and it's really hard to go through that process, but we do see something that works, something that's effective, and there's a lot of talk about scaling this up, and I just want to note that as you have those conversations, I hope that you kind of understand how we're a little bit different from that, and we can find a way to continue to keep this work going, because we are seeing results. Our intermediates represent 50% of the population here in the state. My intermediate even goes as far south as Waseca and down south of Mankato, so we are bringing greater Minnesota as well into that process.
Mm-hmm. By investing in programs like iTrack, this model is an investment in the expertise of our paraprofessionals, which is really an untapped pipeline for building our workforce in setting for special education. Our paraprofessionals have years of experience in our setting for programs and are dedicated to the work of serving students with disabilities. So it's really, when you look at the average tenure, I think 5.5 to 7 years tenure already in the program. That's beyond the typical burnout rate in special ed programs. So there's a commitment from our paraprofessionals to do this work. And building their opportunities or having an opportunity like iTrack really helps them to get that pathway to licensure. As many of them, and you heard in the video, they're highly interested in continuing their careers, but there are barriers to that pathway. This innovative model not only addresses those barriers, but it meets the immediate needs for teachers in our setting for environments and growing professionals who are deeply committed to doing the work of working with students with significant disabilities. Before we turn this over to our apprentices and journey worker, I want to share with you the rigor of the coursework. iTrack provides a structured pathway for paraprofessionals to earn their teaching license while continuing to work in their current roles. And you can see sort of the model here for years 1 and 2. They'll come out with a degree, a Bachelor of Science in Special Education, with those categorical licenses of ASD and EBD, which is critical, as I mentioned, in our setting for environments, to have them highly qualified to serve the students that we serve in setting for special education. This rigorous 2-year program meets the state licensure standards while also transforming the traditional way we do student teaching through job-embedded projects.
Something I'd like to go back to and just note again is that the difference in licensure here. You can go get an ABS license and you can't come to us, but you can go through our program and go anywhere in the state. So it works to come to us and to go other places, but it doesn't work the other way. So we have a challenge there that we're facing. We have a systemic barrier there that we kind of need to troubleshoot. And I think that this program helps address some of that.
Well, we're excited to turn it over to our first apprentice, Mr. Chambers.
Hello.
Good morning. If you just introduce yourself for the record, and then let's hear what you have to say.
Hey, good morning, Chair and Committee. My name is Alvin Chambers. Thank you for having us also, by the way. My name is Alvin Chambers. I am an education support staff in the role of an apprentice teacher working at Intermediate District 287. I'm speaking in the role of an apprentice in order to become a special education licensed teacher. I am speaking in support of the bill SF number 949. I graduated in 2012 with my associate's degree in criminal justice, and I always wanted to be a juvenile probation officer, and I wanted to help kids and guide them in the right direction. I always wanted to work with kids who had a rough start in life. Years after that, I was granted full custody of my daughters, and I had to take a break from school due to the lack of time and funds. 8 years ago, I started working at District 287. I never knew the impact that I would have on the staff or the students. Over the years, my colleagues will always tell me that I'll be a great teacher because I was a great para. I would always tell them that I needed to finish school. They would encourage me to go ahead and finish school, but I never really had the time to do so. I never had the funds to complete my school. I had to pay out of pocket. Last year, the iTrack program popped up, and it said that it would pay for my schooling. At first, I thought it was a hoax. Upon signing up, I realized that it was a real deal. It created opportunities for my family, and I will no longer need to work 2 jobs, and I will be able to focus on my energy on becoming a teacher, and it'll be great for my future. At times, well, not at times, but now I'm be able to sit at the table with my daughters and we could do our homework together, and it puts smiles on their faces to see that their father is still going on with school. And I always talk to them about going to college, and then they could see that, hey, my dad's doing it, I can do it. So I can lead by example. I like the smiles that it put on their faces and the impact of our relationship, and it pushed us in a positive way. This hands-on experience allowed me to add to my skills in ways that is meaningful and applicable to the students that I serve. I have a strong relationship with my students, and I want to empower them to be the best that they can be. The work and learn model allows me to even more impact their lives. The ability to attain my bachelor's science in special education with dual license in ASD and EBD, which is autism spectrum disorder and emotional behavior disorder, allows me to serve in Intermediate District 287 with some of the most impactful students in the state. Some students don't have fathers. I have learned that I am a role model to some of the students, and the students respond to me. They count on me to be there for them. As a Black man, I am able to reach out and support them in ways that others can't. I am also someone who they can identify with. I am passionate about my work. This bill will ensure that others like me will be able to have the same opportunities. Our students deserve a highly qualified, specialized teacher to support them. And hopefully one day I'll be that person. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. I'm sure your variety of roles has really been an inspiration for a lot of folks, not just your own children, but your students and your community. So thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for participating in this.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Next, we have Kristen Rasmussen, and then I would also ask you to introduce yourself, and you may begin.
Okay. Thank you, Chair and committee members. My name is Kirsten Rasmussen, special education teacher for Intermediate District 287, speaking in the role of journey worker, which means a mentor teacher. I am speaking in support of Bill SF number 949. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I am a mentor teacher with 26 years of classroom experience and have been supporting teacher apprenticeship in our district's new innovative preparation program. The teacher shortage crisis in our state is especially detrimental for the students our district serves. Our students require highly individualized special education services that require staff that are specially trained and committed. In my own district, we began this school year with multiple unfilled positions, making it difficult to meet the significant needs of some of our state's most vulnerable children. The students I work with have a history of deep trauma, often from multiple events such as family deaths, significant and prolonged abuse and neglect, severe mental health-related barriers, and housing insecurity due to poverty and multiple foster and group home placements. They need teachers that can truly recognize their strengths, want to understand what their behaviors are communicating, and have a passion for helping them gain academic skills while learning new ways to navigate their world. My students need adults in their lives that believe in and care about them, even on their toughest days. The traditional teacher training model may work for those aspiring to work in a typical education program, but I know that my college education did not fully prepare me for the environment I work in. If I had been given the option to earn my special education licensure through an apprenticeship program, I would have felt more prepared from the beginning to provide the education my students desperately need and deserve. Our apprentices have already been in our classrooms as education support professionals, have a passion for our kids, and want to take on the additional roles and responsibilities of a special education teacher and case manager. The passion our apprentices have for our students cannot be taught in a college classroom, and the mentorship they receive through this new program cannot be acquired through 6 to 12 weeks of traditional student teaching. We are fortunate that our district's new teacher apprenticeship program offers a unique and promising pathway. Apprentices are thoughtfully paired with experienced mentor teachers like myself for 2 academic years. During this time, they have the opportunity to observe, actively participate in, and experience all aspects of the teaching profession. I believe supporting this bill and continuing to invest in teacher apprenticeships is essential for the success of our students. Thank you.
Thank you also for the work that you do in encouraging others to join this field and the support that you provide, Ms. Rasmussen. Next, we have Kyle Brown. Would you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Kyle Brown. I'm here to speak on Bill 949. I've worked as a paraprofessional for Northeast Metro since 2016. I've worked in many different classrooms with various types of students, a lot of which have very complex needs. Throughout my career, there's not been a lot of opportunity for advancement. That is until 2 years ago when a chance to become a paraprofessional coach became available, a job assignment to help other paras become fabulous educators. I took that year to advance in any way that I could, becoming an instructor for our crisis intervention system, being on the district-wide equity leadership team, and participating in many professional development opportunities. While all of these things are great, they still contained a ceiling until the apprenticeship program was introduced. I think it's important to note that I'm an adult living with ADHD, and while I have the drive to advance, traditional school was always very difficult for me. Taking multiple years just to complete my associate degree, the traditional route seemed overwhelming and incredibly expensive, deterring me from taking it. So naturally, when the apprenticeship program became available, I had to jump on it. What I really appreciate about the program are the following. The folks at Mankato have been great, accepting our feedback on what works for us school-wise, how we can be successful, and truly breaking down the barriers that keep our hardworking paraprofessionals from advancing. Northeast Metro 916 and MNSU have put amazing people and support into place. My journey worker is extremely knowledgeable about all the work I'm assigned, being there to guide and support me as I try and experience many new things. I can also say I've fallen to other experts at my site who are always more than willing to help assist me in any way that I need. My navigator, who is the liaison between our district and the folks at Mankato, I would like to point out that she has truly helped me the most, creating a welcoming and safe space for me, supporting me in my assignments, breaking it down as much as she can in order to help me find success. She's my biggest cheerleader, always an open ear when I hit bumps in the road for my students or if I'm struggling with something personally, using her own expertise to help me along the way. The HR folks at my district find spaces for us to collaborate, provide time for us to complete our assignments, and ensure our time is compensated. They also work hard behind the scenes to make us find success. The support I've received from all these people has helped me to achieve a 4.0 GPA the past 2 semesters, something that I've never achieved in my academic career. I also love that I'm gaining these skills at work. I do spend some of my non-duty time working on schoolwork. However, I attend class once per month during regular school hours and can utilize my work day to further my workload naturally, having job-embedded assignments for things that are already happening, attending meetings, writing IEPs, teaching classes, and using benchmarking to make database decisions. All things that, to be honest, seem overwhelming in the big picture, but once started, seem very comfortable because this has been my career for the past 9 years. Here's the kicker. I'm being paid to do it all. Once finished, I will almost double my paycheck, and it will open so many doors that I once thought were closed to me. All in all, the apprenticeship program is incredibly significant to our education system here in Minnesota, giving individuals like myself opportunity to grow, collaborate, and burst through those barriers that once existed. Thank you for your time.
Thank all of you for sharing this really incredible opportunity that has been created here for you. I see a lot of heads shaking, positively, and smiles behind you. So it's sort of an affirmation of the work that all of you are doing. You talk about the incredible impact it's having on your life. You're able to spend more time with your children. You're a role model to them as you're sitting at the dining room table studying. I had the same experience in my 30s, going back to school and doing my homework, and I think it made an impact on my kids. And you talk about the ability to apply what you're learning to the position that you're doing right now with the work, and Ms. Rasmussen, you talk about the ability to build collaboration and partnership. But what would you say is the biggest impact to our students? I really try to focus on the work that we do to have the biggest bang for our buck with our students. So as you're going through this process, what would have you noticed anything unique or different in how it is positively, or perhaps not so positively, impacting your students?
I would say that as we've talked a lot here, we're very short-staffed, and I think just alone having an apprentice in the classroom, there's an additional staff there to help everyone and to support our students in every way possible that we know how.
I would say that, when we have new staff coming in that haven't had any experience in our classrooms, there's quite a bit of adjustment time for them. Through this, it's teachers it's ESPs who have already worked with and made connections with our kids. So sliding into that role as educator is a really smooth process, and the kids already adore them and want to see them come to work every day. So it's such a smooth change that it doesn't feel as rocky, I think, for the kids having new people in. New staff can make it really uncomfortable for them at first, so.
To piggyback off what she said, some of the students, some of their favorite staffs are EAs. And to go from supporting the student to now teaching the student, and now you have a closer connection with the student, they love that.
Well, thank you all very much for the work that you're doing, and let's hope that we retain you all because that is one of our biggest challenges, is retaining our teachers. And I know it's a hard job, it's an emotional job, it's a physical job, exhausting job, but really appreciate your participation in this program. I think we have Marcy Dowd, who is the superintendent at Intermediate School District 287. Just introduce yourself for the record, and you may begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Marcy Dowd. I'm the proud superintendent of Intermediate District 287, which is the West Metro, and the proud superintendent of the staff in front of you. First of all, I want to say thank you. Because of what you gave for iTrack, we will be graduating 23 licensed special education teachers in the fall of 2026. So that's super exciting for us. And we are ready to do another cohort. We have staff not only within our intermediates, but within our member districts that would like to enter into this pathway. As you can imagine, to break down those barriers, there's a cost to it, and tuition is one of the biggest things that we provide to support our staff becoming from a paraprofessional to a licensed teacher. And so, without continued funding, we will not have enough to keep running the cohorts and support this pathway. We can't hope anymore for special education teachers to just fall from the sky. So the 4 intermediate superintendents with Mankato came together with our unions and said, what do we need to do it different? And so we've built this program. We're proud of it, and we are going to change the workforce that we're experiencing in intermediates. And so I ask that you continue to fund $3 million annually, and that will support continued cohorts, not only for staff in the intermediates, but open it up to our member districts, and we have a pathway to increase across the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Members, do you have any questions or comments for this slate of folks? Senator Swedzinski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for all of you for being here today. I do have a question, but I got to share with you an anecdote. So we had homeroom where I taught for years, and I loved homeroom because while I only had most of my students for 9 weeks, homeroom, you had the kids for 4 years. And so you really built a relationship, and it was a great place, and the kids started 9th grade with me, and then you read their names at commencement, and it was just this great program. Anyways, one year, this 9th grade girl comes to class, and she was marching to the beat of her own drummer with all the good and the bad that comes with that mantra. And so she sat down on the first day and continued to make the next 170 days of my, well, I guess once a week, so, well, whatever. Once a week for 170 days of homeroom, not a pleasant experience for me. She had a chip on her shoulder, and she just didn't feel like she wanted to develop a relationship with me or the fellow students in the room. 10th grade comes around, she's no longer in homeroom. And I'm like, yeah, great, you know, because she was struggling and not making those people around her lives very happy. So anyways, flash forward 3 years, and I was asked to speak at the commencement ceremony for Prairie Center Alternative School, which got absorbed by District 287 eventually. And there she was in the front row. And I'm like, oh boy, you know, I gotta look at her during my commencement speech. And she comes up to me after, and I thought she was gonna punch me and say, thanks for ruining a year of her life, or whatever she was about to say. And she hugged me, and she looked over at the principal, who was sitting about 10, 15, 20 feet away from me, and started thanking him in front of me for giving her the life that she couldn't find at the traditional school setting. And I'll never forget her for the rest of my life because of the role your district played in her development, that you saw her as, and she needed that. She needed an alternative setting that your schools provide for so many students. And so I can never, ever repay that favor for what you've done to my career and for what you did for that young woman wherever she is today. And so, but I do have a question. So thanks for indulging me in that anecdote. But when I saw you guys coming in to testify, I had to share that with you. And so thanks for listening. And but my question, and the statement was by Mr. Horton, and maybe, but all of you can chime in. 25% turnover rates in the first 3 years, unacceptable. If any profession had that, nurses, police officers, anything, we'd be, oh my God, what's going on? But in the alternative school setting, we've kind of maybe disregarded that statistic as the vital statistic that it is. So, boy, we could use some help. The program you guys have established is awesome. It's amazing. Thank you for all the hard work, the superintendents and principals and participants in the program, but if you can give us any feedback on why you think, and I think we know the answers, but we have the experts here right now, and but nonetheless, why do you think you have a 25% turnover rate in your profession in the first 3 years? And maybe we can help you along with all the other schools that might have similar numbers. So thanks for indulging me.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Superintendent Dowd, do you have a response you'd like to share?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think a lot of it has to do with not being highly qualified, not being fully licensed, not being a licensed special education teacher, and then working with students that have severe or profound needs, either behaviorally or physically or medically. And so what iTrack does is you're fully immersed for 2 years in our classrooms, getting highly trained with the students that we support. And so you can continue and stay with Intermediate District 287 or any of the intermediates, or you can go to a member district. Either way, we're increasing the workforce. But if you've never experienced a setting, a special education setting that supports students with significant behavioral needs, it can be very difficult. And so we see a turnover mostly because they're not highly qualified or fully licensed. And that's the problem we are solving with iTrack.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Senator Farnsworth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was sort of thinking this question before Senator Swedzinski asked that question, and I thought, well, it's not really germane, but since you opened the door. So I'm an EBD teacher by trade, although I got tired of getting kicked and bit and spit on, so I took the testing job. So I know what you're going through. I mean, I still have little scars on my shins from a third grader that he wore specific red boots because he knew he could make me bleed when he wore those boots, and he would kick me with them. We didn't have, I'm drawing a blank now, the seclusion room. In Hibbing, we didn't have a seclusion room, and so I found my days being spent in a room with him and his aide or other students on my caseload, basically just getting beat up, and we couldn't send them home. And so I'm just wondering, I don't even know if the intermediate schools had seclusion rooms before the law was changed, and if getting rid of those has made the job worse. Does anybody dare to comment about that? Because I've heard that injuries are up 90% since we got rid of those. So I'm just wondering if you could comment on that.
Senator Dowd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm going to ask my colleague, Dr. Valerie Bowe, to come on up too, because in Intermediate District 287, we do not have seclusion rooms. However, they are still in use in some points needed. We really work hard, and all of us, all 4 intermediates, in supporting de-escalation strategies. And so the training for our paraprofessionals, for any staff member, including the superintendents, we all are highly trained in working on de-escalation. But I'll pass it to my colleague.
Thank you. And Dr. Bowe, if you'd like to comment.
Yes, thank you. I've been with 916 for 19 years. I started as an EBD teacher. And one of the most difficult things that I get emotional when I think about this is having a student who can't express their needs, and so it comes up as a behavior. And we work really, really hard to try to do proactive things to prevent from going hands-on or using seclusion rooms. And one of the new things that we just implemented, thanks to our new Executive Director of Special Education, is UCARO. So we're constantly looking for different ways to be proactive in our ability to support students, to prevent them from needing those more restrictive procedures. When we think about our students, their behaviors are communicating an unmet need. And when we can help them through building relationships with them, and our iTrack program is a beautiful example of how our paraprofessionals are building relationships with students in the classroom while growing into teachers that will be taking over the classrooms. They'll be able to help the students that build that relationship. So by understanding and anticipating some of the antecedents to behaviors, and through their skills, I mean, these people are gifted. And it takes a gifted teacher to be able to do this work.
Yeah.
And a lot of patience and resilience and all the things. We can prevent, though, the need for restrictive procedures and seclusion. We do have some seclusion rooms in our ASD program, our secondary ASD program, where we have the larger students. Of course, it's not available to our elementary age students at this point anymore, but it's only used in a situation where it's a real emergency for the student, and the students often through communication with us and understanding their needs will select to have that break space away from others. And we often co-regulate with them in a seclusion room if possible. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. And thank you for your empathy and your understanding of the uniqueness of these students and the work that you're doing to ensure that, you know, situations like a seclusion room or something like that. I mean, you know your kids, you understand them, and you know what's going to trigger them. So thank you very much for that very, very humane approach. Senator Farnsworth, do you have a follow-up?
Just a comment, and I want to thank you for that. And I legitimately am, because in my professional career, we didn't have seclusion rooms, so I haven't known that much about them. And so I've had another senator in particular talking to me about this. And I think about the student that I was talking about who beat the crap out of us every day. Mm-hmm. The worst day of my professional life, he was going so crazy, he kicked in the drywall and was trying to eat the drywall, and so we were trying to restrain him to keep him from eating the drywall, and his aide had to wear soccer gear because she had so many bruises. And I think maybe if there was a seclusion room, you know, that was safe and there was the window so that we could watch him, there wouldn't be the injuries. But I think my worst professional day was the day that he was so out of control, Mom couldn't get him in the car. We had to call the police. And I bawled. I had a third grader in the back seat of a police car going to the hospital. And I, of course, reconsidered every choice that I've ever made that brought me to that point where I had to watch a third grader. And I think we need some flexibility. And so I really am looking into, you know, trying to learn about these seclusion rooms, because I think they do offer some value, especially for kids with autism, because they're quiet and it's sort of a calming place and it's safe. I mean, my understanding is there's, you know, padding, so they can't kick in the drywall and start eating the drywall or whatever. So I really appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Senator Maye Quade, you had a comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank you all so much for the work that you're doing and the obvious care and love that you have for your students. And, you know, I have the privilege of carrying a bill, and I say often that sometimes you sit down and as the senator, you do the bill yourself. You're the lobbyist. You're bringing everybody together. And sometimes really, really great people sit down and do all the work, and then they bring you a bill and they say, hey, will you, because I can't, will you introduce this bill? And that was this for me. That was all of you doing that. And so I'm really, really grateful just to all the work that you've done, and also coming here, right? You're taking time out of a work day and probably out of a learning day and away from your families to come here. So I appreciate that too. You know, I do want to just say one of the other parts that we've been able to partner with the intermediate district is around phasing out seclusion. And so I want to thank you for your partnership there. It was in the last 2 years saying, like, here's what we're doing to do this. And so thank you for bringing that to us to say, we might be the folks you would expect to use it the most, and here's how we're phasing it out. And so your partnership in doing that was really, really beneficial, and I thank you for that. And I know you're still meeting to figure out, okay, we did K through 3, how can we continue to move that up? What would that look like? What does training look like? And so I'm really, really grateful, because, you know, too often I think we talk about kids with IEPs or kids in special ed as if they're like these horrible kids that are like violent, and you know, and the way you've described it's they're communicating a need, right? And anybody who's met a child knows that behaviors are communicating unmet needs in a way that the only way they know how. And so really bringing that forward here and bringing your expertise both in that space and here is just so incredible. And we're so grateful to that, because we know a little bit about a lot of things, and you know a lot about special ed, and so we're going to make it better in the state of Minnesota because of the time that you've taken outside of all the other work you do to make sure that we can support you, so thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for being here this morning, for participating in this process of meeting the needs of our really unique students. And just really appreciate your words and your kindness. Thank you. Next, we will move on to hearing from Minnesota State University Mankato around their SPED apprenticeship program. And we have Dr. Moavita, the Dean of the College of Education, and Dr. Terry Pressler, who is the Director for the Center of Education Partnership and Student Support. If you'd like to come up. I'm thinking purple is the color of the day. Whichever of you would like to begin, if you would introduce yourself for the record, and then you may begin.
Okay. Good morning. My name's Dr. Morumba Movita. I'm the Dean of College of Education, Minnesota State University, Mankato. I'm the new Minnesotan. I'm here, this is my 26th week in Minnesota. So I'm excited to meet you. And I look forward to working with you in this venture. So thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the Education Finance Committee. Let me begin by saying that we support this bill that you've put forward. And for us to be able to support this bill, let me talk about how our institution, from the leadership all the way down to the partnership that you've hired through the independent school district, is working together. At Minnesota State University, Mankato, under the leadership of President Inch and Provost Hood, we are committed to a lifelong provider of access and affordable education to all Minnesotans. We want to be a leader in transformational learning, generating inspired action. We are nimble and innovative and steward of the taxpayers' resources in Minnesota. We are a community of care for all students. Having said that, as the Dean of the college, I play a pivotal role in leading the faculty and staff to provide the leadership that ensures that we prepare our students to be knowledgeable with skills to teach students in K through 12 schools. Let me pause here and say, we are preparing teachers who are teaching students now and students who are not born yet. So let's pause there and think about that. As an institution, as a college, that's my charge, to help us to lead and think in such a way that we can prepare our teachers to meet all the needs that we want met for all our students in our state. Those who are born, those who are alive right now, and those who are not born yet. As I reflect on this innovative program that brings together school districts, policymakers, you as our leaders, labor leaders, College of Education at Minnesota State University, Mankato, I see that when multiple stakeholders see a need to come together to discuss possible solutions, innovative solutions are the results. Thus, the apprenticeship program in the 4 intermediate school districts. Senators, today we are going to share the specifics of the innovation and the creativity that this innovation brings to us. Before we do that, I would like to share some positive news as a result of funding of this special education apprenticeship program that started last year. In August 2024, the College of Education at MNSU, Mankato, partnered with 3 other districts, namely North Branch, Owatonna, and Minneapolis, to create another special education apprenticeship cohort that will graduate about the same time as those of the 4 intermediate districts. Currently, we are hopefully and working with other 15 school districts in the state to begin a new cohort in the fall of this year that may have 20 to 35 students in that cohort so that they can continue this great work that you pioneered last year. At this time, Madam Chair, allow me to introduce my colleague, Dr. Terry Preisler, Acting Director of the Center for Education Partnerships and Student Support in the College of Education. Dr. Preisler is instrumental in engaging partner districts, faculty, and students for this program. She will speak on the innovation and creativity of the apprenticeship model, how the model works, and how the success so far. At the end of her comments, we will be glad to answer questions from the committee members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mwavita. Dr. Preisler, if you would just please introduce yourself for the record, and please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Senators, and Dean Mwavita. My name is Terry Preisler. I am the Acting Director for the Center for Educator Partnerships and Student Support at Minnesota State University, Mankato, and the College of Education. The vast majority of my educational career has been 34 years as a K-12 teacher, administrator, and superintendent, and only 5 years here now at the College of Education and Higher Ed. I know well firsthand the need for partnership. No one can do this incredible, noble work alone. We need to partner in order to serve the needs and the assets of our students, families, communities, and the future. When Minnesota State heard about the possibility of apprenticeship that Department of Labor and Industry brought forward, and we were in the room with teacher prep leaders, union leaders, Department of Labor and Industry, school districts, quite frankly, for us, it was a no-brainer that we needed to do all we could to be a part of this because of all the things that Dean Mwavita said about being nimble, being solution-focused, and serving students, serving future students. You've also heard about the need for sustainability, retention, and growth of educators, but in particular special education. And in this situation, when the 4 intermediate school districts reached out to be a partner, we also knew the need for a dual licensed ASD EBD program at the undergraduate level, which had not been in place before for us or other teacher preps in this state. And so again, we were, why not, let's do it, and jumped all in. We also know that the solutions that come about for this need to create high quality and fully licensed teachers. You've heard this already about the need for retention and being fully licensed and having the experience to serve in special education and in particular at the intermediates, but across all of our districts, is one that just can't be replaced with programs. It can't be replaced with structures. It must be with people. Registered teacher apprenticeship is one of those innovative, necessary solutions, an added value to the need for multiple pathways to becoming a fully licensed teacher. So planning for this dual licensed ASD EBD model began the summer of 2023. That initial meeting was May 23rd of 2023, and we were all jumping right on in that summer. And to think that we kicked off the first apprenticeships in the summer of 2024. That just doesn't happen by chance. It happens by committed, passionate people who were so clear about the focus and purpose. We weren't going to let anything get in the way. The intermediate districts at this point, as I said, they began in the summer of 2024, and now to the summer of 2025, we are at an 88% retention of all the apprentices who began. That's an extremely high percentage, especially when you consider the turnover rates that you heard from Dr. Morton. Incredible. In the other apprenticeship program that Dean Mwavita mentioned, a Forward Together, we are at a 96% retention rate. All on track to graduate May of 26. Now, some key elements about this model is that it is a 2-year AA to BA BS model. So the apprentices did come in with either a completed AA or as close to as possible. Once again, we knew the need to be flexible. You can all say, well, if you have an associate's degree, ta-da. Well, associate's degrees can look different depending upon the state you come from, the institution you come from, and there are prerequisites, and we were like, okay, we'll make this work. We will find ways. The entire program itself, or model, has been co-planned and is co-taught. So once again, partnership comes into it. We met throughout the summer to design the program, bringing forth the content experts from our faculty in special education, Dr. Dana Wagner and Dr. Kirsten Hensley, to develop a model that meets Pellsby standards, as well as meets the needs of the districts and ultimately the students. So what happens is, as you saw in that purple sheet, we called it, the apprentices take 3 to 4 courses at a time, but we don't call them courses. In apprenticeship, they are related technical instruction, and the courses are combined into a seamless block of learning. All the apprentices know is that they are learning about certain topics. This is the aspect that's happening in their work that day. They are learning the content in an applicable, real-life manner. Well, our reason for doing this is to take away the cognitive load of, oh, am I in special ed 409 or 609? Am I at what course? It doesn't matter. We're about learning and applying and doing and growing and becoming licensed and ready to go. This is one major difference from our regular special education programming or in general of higher education. Related technical instruction, or the seamless block of learnings, occur during the school day, which is another huge component, very different from other grow your own types of programs where you work all day and take the classes at night or online. It's during the workday. It's a much more humane, realistic manner to completion. And the apprentices are released from their role, either with a substitute or, as you can only imagine, we are short substitutes as well. And so positions are combined. The coursework, again, the model of learnings is an online synchronous with some, asynchronous follow-up resources and extended learning. But our goal is to be able to have that there can be a family life, a personal life, and the needs to move forward. Again, all about retention through the program. The job-embedded learning and direct, immediate application of the course content occurs on a daily basis. As I said, this was created with our special education faculty and with teachers and paraprofessionals and leaders from the 4 intermediate districts. What is real in your district? Our goal was to bring deepened theory to real application in an immediate practice. And because we had trust and relationships built with the apprentice districts, they could trust that we were bringing content that was relevant, and we could trust that they were going to follow through and also give us feedback to make it better every single week. The evidence of apprenticeship learning occurs through projects, demonstration, doing, and reflection. The idea of assessments and taking tests is not even in our language. It's about real life because they're with real children. The journey teachers are pivotal. They provide ongoing guidance and feedback to apprentices and also to us as the higher ed teacher preparation program. And Minnesota State Mankato and our districts partner for the ongoing training, communication, and collaboration with journey teachers and other support roles that you heard as in navigators and with the districts. So where there is a full circle happening on a continuous timeline. And the mix of the learning and trainings are both cohort content means, but also district-specific needs. That's why the local partnership is so important in this. I guess if I had to sum this up as the key in this model, we're all in this together. It's from the design of the program to navigating the structures of application, admission, advising. I mean, there are structures within any system that work for some and don't work for others. And so as we have apprentices, as you heard, maybe haven't been in higher ed for a long time, coming back in, we don't want to be wasting the time to find, well, where's the admissions office? Where's this office? We streamline it in our model and partnership. I have the honor to serve in that role as the go-to person. And then I reach to admissions. I reach to orientation. Taking those cognitive loads away so they can focus on learning and students. And that has been imperative. As well to the workday instruction and demonstration of learning, to elevating the expertise right within the districts, both with paraprofessionals, journey teachers, and leaders throughout the district. So you have heard this already, but I want to emphasize as well, we do definitely support this bill, Senate Finance 949. Hopefully I got that number right here. Beginning, sorry about that. But in particular, we support the financial sustainability of registered teacher apprenticeships in the state of Minnesota. Madam Chair, you asked the question, what's the biggest impact? It really is people. It's highly qualified people. It's stay in the profession people. And you stay in the profession and you grow and you learn and you continuously get better so that we do better for students. So I thank you for this opportunity to share. And Madam Chair, members of the Education Finance Committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify and share experiences and successes with registered teacher apprenticeships as a viable additional pathway to becoming a teacher. And we invite and welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you so much for that. Senator Clark, you have a comment or question?
Comment with a question. So in previous role, I was chair of the Academic and Student Affairs Committee of a local university, and we oftentimes received reviews of programs. And one of the metrics I always listened to and so listened for was retention rate. And did you say 96 and 88% were your retention rates in the program?
Ms. Preisler, Director Preisler.
Madam Chair, Senator, yes. And that is at our current rate, and we are close to halfway through the program. And it is typical, as you heard, it's in the initial stages when people decide this isn't for me. Yeah. We're finding people are saying this is for me.
And
Senator Clark.
Thank you, Chair Kunish. My comment is this, that when we encountered that in my prior roles, we would trip over ourselves funding more because it works. It shows that the program that you've put together and the people that you involve works. So thank you, keep it up. And I'm all in on this. So I'm glad we found this and thank you for making this work.
Thank you, Senator Clark. Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And, you said we have the 4 intermediates, we have 3 other schools that are participating in a program, and did you say there are 15 more that are looking to start cohorts through this program?
Director Preisler, or, I'm sorry, whichever one would like to reply.
Madam Chair and Senator, yes, we have 15 other districts that we are working with that we want to start this cohort by this fall, if all goes well.
Follow up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Where in the state are these districts from? Are they all over? Are they from certain particular areas of the state? Help give us an idea where they're from.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, Senator, thank you for that question. The districts do include the intermediate school districts as well. They are striving and wanting to start another cohort in the future here as early as the fall. North Branch is also working as a lead to bring some districts together, and they're kind of all over. We have all the way down to Albert Lee, who's interested, over to Hastings, into the southwest area. The piece with apprenticeship, the intermediate districts are, geographically close, and yet they serve districts all over. Apprenticeship can work with districts all over the state, and in situations where maybe they only have 2 that, paraprofessionals that they're providing support to, and in apprenticeship. Or if they have 6, it is a model that's set up or can be set up with flexibility, with feedback, with people working together and trusting one another to be able to create a model that can work for both greater Minnesota, within the Twin Cities, in urban. It really is a model that could fit across the way, and that's where we're hoping to move to within the fall of 2025, realizing that we're a partner in this. In apprenticeship, we're not the lead, we're a partner, but we're ready to step up, be nimble, and make it happen. And that model is also looking at an ASD EBD licensure, because we know the need is there, both within the intermediates, which is vitally necessary, and within pre-K-12 districts across our state.
Thank you. Follow-up?
One more follow-up. Thank you, Madam Chair. And so what is their funding source that they're looking at using for doing these programs, especially the new ones that weren't a part of this initial?
You may respond.
Madam Chair, Senator, they're working on that. As a previous K-12 superintendent, we know that the bucket of funds is not endless, and so you need to take a look at what you're able to do. Quite frankly, without some sustainable funding, the model probably would need to not include some of the tuition support that this one has been able to, and that could definitely affect retention rates. And so I do foresee that there'll be some hope or ask or some things brought forward to see if there's some ways that we can extend this partnership from districts, labor, Department of Labor and Industry, Minnesota State or teacher prep, to also our state as state legislators.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just, I guess, something that I want us to think about as we're moving forward with this. I mean, as someone who, an electrician, went through an apprenticeship program myself, I think it is a great model. And I realize this is just one bill, and I mean, we can all bring forward bills asking for money, knowing that it's going to be very tight this year. But I think this one particular bill is so laser focused on a certain area of the state. And I've got a district in Carleton County, multiple schools that are doing just this. But I would ask people to go up and take a look at this. I have a bonding request trying to help them out. They're in 2 different facilities at schools in the area, and they get the leftover rooms that aren't being used for anything else. They have an old gym space. This isn't the wooden floor basketball court that we think of. This is the old, what you think of in the old schools where they did the wrestling. Concrete walls, concrete floor, no windows, interior of the building. They also get, for about 2 hours of the day, they have to use the wood shop. I would ask anybody if you think that's an appropriate space for these students, but that's what's there. Mm-hmm. And so when I look at this bill and I realize that this is laser focused on one area of the state, and I heard the comment, we're helping solve this for Minnesota. No, this isn't solving this for Minnesota. And I look at this too. Another question I have is, so we're specifically naming.
Senator Rourke, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we haven't heard this bill yet. So if you have comments on the bill, can you save them for the bill and the author?
I will do that.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? Well, thank you so much for coming up here and sharing all the good work that all of you are doing. And we really appreciate those efforts and the thought that goes into this. We'd love to be able to wave that magic wand and make sure that everybody has everything that they need. And so appreciate that you work within the parameters that you find yourself in. So, all right, why don't we move into then the bill itself? Thank you. Senator Maye Quade? right, Senator Maye Quade, and then you have some testifiers. We are going to, the plan is to lay Senate File 949 over today. So Senator Maye Quade, would you like to move your bill?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The bill before us today is Senate File 949, which would provide each of the 4 intermediate school districts with about $740,000 to continue the registered special education teacher apprenticeship program. After the amazing testifiers, the videos, the demonstration of the work that's happening, I don't know if I need to explain it much more. This has been an incredible program that has trained diverse, highly qualified special education teachers through on-the-job training, mentorship, and tuition assistance. And, you know, there's lots of things I could say about the things we've done in the last 2 years, but we helped create almost 40 new special education teachers. That is such a huge number in a teacher shortage era, to be able to say we created 40 more teachers. And so to sustain and expand this program, the request for this committee today is $3 million for ongoing funding. We appropriated $1 million before, and I think that we have seen the incredible results, and it is worth the sustainable funding. In fact, we've heard about some of the other programs that folks have been through or they run in their own districts, and this is a model that works. There's a reason that it works for other jobs, and so it's been one of the coolest things I've gotten to just be part of and see happening, and I'm really excited to bring this bill before the committee, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you very much. Senator Rarick, perhaps you'd like to continue your conversation and ask questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I guess my first question in regards to the bill where we're picking out 4 specifics that are going to get this instead of doing it as say a competitive grant where we'd make this available to the whole state to potentially look at this. Why are we giving MDE $40,000 to write out checks? Why wouldn't we give $750,000 to each of these schools when there's zero work that MDE would have to do other than pass the money through to get to these programs?
Senator Maye Quade.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Senator Rarick, I mean, there's a slight percentage of every grant that we give out that supports not just the sending out of the money, but the oversight of the grant to be making sure that it's used in the appropriate way. And I think, as we've been having conversations in this legislative session, we want to be sure that our agencies and our departments have the ability to oversee the money that they're giving out in the appropriate way so that it's going towards what it's supposed to be going towards.
Thank you, Senator. Follow up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So do we actually believe MDE is the appropriate place to oversee that then, considering the amount of fraud that happened underneath their watch? And maybe we should be looking at a different office to be overseeing and making sure the money is being used appropriately?
Senator Maye Quade.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Senator Rarick. I mean, the fraud against state government is appalling to everybody, and the purpose of this money is to make sure that it's going to the people who need it for the programs that they need it for, and making sure that we have the appropriate staff at our agencies to oversee those grants is very important.
Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one last comment. I guess the program itself is incredible. We all see the results. I just believe this needs to be opened up for other areas of the state to take advantage instead of focusing on the same schools year after year after year to get this funding. This should be open across the state to be able to get these resources and to get new teachers into their programs. I mean, don't envision that we've got a lot of money that we can do multiple bills asking for this around the state. So this should be something that we're looking at. We're helping prop it up in one area. Now let's go to another area and help them get theirs propped up so that we can do this actually across the state and help our children everywhere in the state, not just the same area year after year after year after year.
Senator Maye Quade.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think what's important to really know is that we were targeting the crisis. Statewide, the average of out-of-field licensure is about 9.7%. In the intermediate school districts that we're targeting here, it's 21%. And so we have a high need in the specific area that we're targeting because it is more than double the out-of-licensure field teachers than it is for the rest of the state. And so we're targeting that first. But it's important to know, and I think one of our earlier testifiers said this too, is that teachers can get licensed through this apprenticeship program and go anywhere, but they can't do it the other way. They can't get licensed everywhere else and then come in. And so we're really creating a pathway to licensed special ed teachers with this EBD and ASD licensure that can go anywhere in the state. And so we're actually building that pipeline of teachers who can go anywhere at the place where we have the highest need, double the statewide average. And so that is why you see these specific ones, is because we're trying to chip away at a huge disparity that currently exists.
Thank you. Any follow-up? So Senator Farnsworth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the statistic about, and I think this is a good program. I want to say that before I start. Obviously, I'm a special ed teacher, and I look at it from my experience. I don't, again, I sort of to echo what Senator Eric said. I mean, this is going to be a tough year for the budget. I don't even know if we'll have the money for this. But looking at the statistics where the intermediates have twice the state average of teachers that are working outside of their license field, I think there's a lot of things that could explain that. For instance, go to a rural school district, they can't find a teacher. And I know there's maintenance of effort, and they have to, try and spend a similar amount of money that they did before. But say you go to a rural school district, they can't find a teacher. They can't find somebody to even work out of their license field. And so what do? They just cause caseloads for everybody else to be higher. And so I think that would contribute to this statistic. I don't know that this statistic is completely accurate. Spending $1 million the last 2 years to increase teachers in special education, and I think you said the number was 40. That's a positive result. So now we're bumping it up to $3 million. Why couldn't we say, okay, we'll still spend $1 million on this program and spend the other $2 million around the state, so that we can help rural districts who are having a hard time, who are struggling to find licensed teachers. My problem isn't with the premise of the bill. The premise of the bill is good. My problem is, I think, similar to Senator Rarick's, that everybody's having these issues. And I can use myself for an example. I started my master's program. So actually, both of my alma maters are here today. I got my master's degree from Mankato, and I started that in like 2006, and it was online. And so, with $2 million, you could get somebody from Worthington that could do Mankato's online special ed program, and this would help to pay for that. So, I like the apprenticeship program, but I think, we could use this money to encourage people all over the state to go into special ed. So I don't really have a question, I guess. It's just more of a comment that I kind of question the statistics, because I think there's a lot of reasons that those numbers are lower in greater Minnesota, and it has a lot to do with huge caseloads. And I know in Hibbing, the caseloads are almost unsustainable, but there just isn't the staff. So I think we really need to, rather than just say, oh, yep, because they have twice the teachers that aren't licensed, well, because they actually have people that are willing to work out of their license field. The problem is we need more people across the whole state to work in their license field. So in general, I agree with the goal, but I disagree with being so focused on just these intermediate school districts. So, but thank you for bringing this.
And I don't know if you can answer this, Senator Maye Quade, but has there been discussion about opening up this pathway into other areas, or perhaps? Yep, I'm seeing yes. So this is a model. This is a brand new model. This is the first time we've done this. We had high hopes that it was going to be successful. It's proving to be successful, and now the established program would like to expand. But does that mean that down the road, or maybe some of these districts couldn't contact Mankato and say, wow, you are doing such a fabulous job. We have such a high need similar to this. Can we create some kind of a relationship? Is that a possibility, a future possibility for those school districts? Or maybe they want to combine, in greater Minnesota or western Minnesota, wherever they may be, and create their own cohort.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I think it's really important for us to just take a step back and remember everything that we heard from our presenters. And there's a reason why we heard this in-depth presentation, is because this isn't just about getting a teacher to be licensed in special ed. This is a really specific population of students who need highly qualified teachers. And they're not able to apply what they're learning in these specific licensure areas in real time as per the apprenticeship program if they're not working with those students already. And so I think that we want to make sure that when we're building partnerships, and so the answer to your question is absolutely yes, but this requires a kind of a full circle, as was mentioned before, process. And so it would kind of break out of that whole circle if we were just sending someone to school online, right? Because then also they're doing this work they're applying it right away. They're kind of getting out of this idea, I think it was said as am I in special ed 609 or 405 or whatever, because they're actually just applying their knowledge in real time. And so we want to be sure that as we're expanding this, there is that wraparound support from a district or a set of districts to make sure that there is a journey teacher with that person, right? That's an important part of this, to make sure that they're applying what they're learning in real time in the classroom, to make sure that, all of those supports are there. And so that is why, we have before us the folks who organize to say, here, we're ready to do this. This does not prohibit anybody from saying, here, we're also ready to do this. And we're also continuing to make sure that, all of these licensed teachers could go anywhere. But they have to be able to work with the students they're being licensed to educate in order to complete this program. And so that is where it's targeted to, is where those students are, where they can be in the classroom with them right now.
Excellent. Senator Gustafson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A lot of what I was going to say was already said, so I'll be very brief. But I agree with Senator Farnsworth. I also got my master's degree teaching license at College of St. Scholastica, but it was a hybrid model where there was a remote location in St. Paul, even though the program was all through St. Scholastica. And as most of us know, because a lot of us are teachers, when you go to get your teaching license, you have to do your field hours, you have to do your student teaching, and all of that has to be supervised as well. So I had the same kind of question as Senator Farnsworth, and wondering if we can't model, more. Sorry, I went to Morehead State, so. Mankato State's, idea or program, and still have teachers learn through their program online, but all over the state. So if you are somebody who is in Hibbing, is that one of your towns? Senator So then they have that opportunity to learn as well. So I don't know, and again, I don't want to, tear up the bill, because I think it's a great bill, and it seems as if this is a very clear partnership with Mankato. So I certainly don't want to ruin what's working, but I am wondering that if we are going to put money into it, if there is a way to expand that to other students who are able to take part in the program but don't live in that area. So I don't know if this is the first committee stop or the only committee stop, but I'd be interested in hearing what your ideas are on that.
I think we have somebody that's joined us at the desk. Ms. Doslin, if you'd like to introduce yourself, and you may respond.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'm Valerie Doslin, and I represent the intermediate school districts. Senator Rarick, thank you for the time last week that you gave us to talk about the proposal. Appreciate the time. I just want the committee to be aware there is a proposal in the governor's budget recommendations, and maybe MDE can add some more clarity, that goes through the Department of Labor and Industry, that establishes a new statewide grant. And we are absolutely not opposed to expanding funding so that additional districts are able to avail themselves of the resources to move the program forward. The intermediate has the model in place and is happy to work with any other district to try to accommodate that, but the funding does need to happen. It is happening under I'm not sure what the Labor Committee's work has been on it yet. I have not seen it come up on the agenda, but that is a proposal that the governor does have. And then I do just want to remind while this funding might go to the intermediates, their intention is to expand it so that the member districts all around the metro area are able to have their paraprofessionals participate in that program as well.
Thank you so much. Any other comments or questions? Senator Kroon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. you might want to come back up, but you said something that piqued my curiosity. So if we're administering this program through the Department of Education, but the governor has a proposal to administer it through Dolly, I guess my question is, what exactly does the Department of Education do in this program?
I might have to, Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Sosa.
I think I might need to phone a friend who can answer how they administer those grants.
Senator Farnsworth? Excuse me, Kroon. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I guess that I know it's only $40,000 only, but I don't know what they do here, and if we're contemplating using a different agency, it seems like we should maybe get, and obviously we don't know if that one will become law, but if it does move, it seems like we should get these things on the same page. And I also note that in the bill, there's program oversight and administrative costs for the intermediates and the partner higher education institution, which would be Mankato State. So it seems like we've got administrative costs at 3 different levels on this bill. And it seems like maybe we could reduce that to 1 or 2. And so I guess that's where, I know it's not a lot of money, but it seems like we could do some work on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Members, we are going to be laying this over, so we will have opportunities for more conversation around this. Senator Maye Quade, would you like to, any parting words?
Sure. Well, I just want to thank everyone who's sitting behind me who came in to share their story and really put their minds together to make this work. You know, this really has required a lot of partnership to reduce all of the barriers that are involved for having folks who are currently working, many of them parents, and are doing, you know, in the classroom work with students already in order to get them enrolled in a higher ed program, to find a journey teacher for them to work with, for them to complete their classwork while they're at school. It has been a massive undertaking to make this work, but the reason why is because it works. People are staying in the program. We're getting more licensed teachers. And I think one of the pieces that's really specific about this program is that for the Department of Education, they are coming out with specific licensure to work with a specific population of students. And so it requires not just the Department of Education, but PELSB, and then the higher ed institution, and the intermediate school district. And then a labor union. And so we are working with a lot of folks to make this as seamless as possible. And that seamlessness is what is working, but that does take work on the back end. And so I'm really grateful to folks who are participating from the top all the way down to in the classroom. So I hope that this committee can see the value in it and continue funding this work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Maye Quade, and all of you that came to testify, share your stories, the work, that background work that you all did to put this program together and make it such a success is really much appreciated. So we thank you ever so much. Next, we are going to hear, with that, the Senate File 949 is laid over for possible inclusion in a future omnibus. So now we are going to hear an update from the University of St. Thomas. They are here to share with us an update on federal special education scholarships that their students receive. And I believe President Vischer is here, if you would like to come to the table. We also have Dr. Shelley Nielsen-Gaddy and Dr. Lynn Sansbury Brunzen, and then Justin Jones. President, if you'd like to introduce yourself, and you may begin.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the time. I'm Rob Vischer. I serve as president of the University of St. Thomas, and I'm joined by 2 faculty colleagues in special education and one of our students. And I want to leave plenty of time for them. I just want to make a few framing remarks about this matter. So as you may know, we had a $6.8 million federal grant that was really a teacher pipeline initiative. After the close of business on Friday night, February 7th, we received an email that contained a termination letter giving us notice that the grant had been canceled and that it was canceled because it is considered a DEI initiative. This was a surprise to us. We don't view it as a DEI initiative. We view it as a teacher pipeline initiative. There's no preferences or quotas, as everything at University of St. Thomas is. It was open to all. We do, as we do with every program we have, want to make sure that our students are equipped and empowered to build relationships and to build trust and to perform their work effectively across cultural, political, religious differences, and that's embedded in the work we do. But we were surprised that it was classified as a DEI initiative. As you may know, there's been quite a bit of tumult around higher ed nationally, and I just wanted to flag for this committee something that has been of concern to me. In Washington, D.C. right now, there are several ideas percolating that would create policies that would fall much more heavily on private universities and colleges than they would on public universities and colleges. I just want to make sure that some of those ideas and rhetoric and classifications don't start to get traction in St. Paul as well. So this is an example. This grant is an example. Speaking for St. Thomas, but also all of the private colleges and universities in Minnesota, we are committed to and we are effectuating public values and public priorities, not just in preparing teachers for their careers, but nurses, engineers, business leaders. We are doing this work, and so if we take seriously our obligation on workforce development, on economic mobility, I would just caution us to make sure we're not sidelining the private colleges and universities from that work. I think this partnership is more important than ever, and I say this obviously with the debate about the state grant program upcoming, and I know that this is a difficult budget year, but the state grant is really essential for the private colleges and universities, especially given how North Star Promises changed some of the dynamics, for us to continue providing pathways for all Minnesotans to develop their potential and to serve the greater good in what they do. But I wanted to also give my colleagues an opportunity to do a little bit of deeper dive on this SEED grant, what it was doing, and what the consequences are of what's happened over the last couple of weeks.
Thank you, President Fisher. And then I don't know which is going to speak next, but please introduce yourself and you may begin.
Hello, Madam Chair and committee members. I'm Dr. Lynn Stansberry-Brustinahan, and I'm speaking today with my colleague, Dr. Nilsen Gaddy. We've been at the University of St. Thomas since 2006 as faculty members in the School of Education, Department of Special Education. We are also the co-directors on 2 federal U.S. Department of Education grants. Over the decades working in education, we keenly are aware of the critical need for special education teachers. The 2003 Minnesota Teacher Supply and Demand Report notes that special education is the area where we have a lot of Tier 1, Tier 2, and those out-of-field permissions. One of the biggest barriers to becoming an educator, as we're all aware, is that financial burden to pay for tuition, to pay for fees. Many individuals have to take time off from working to do student teaching in an unpaid position. More than 2/3 of educators entered the field borrowing money, and incurring that debt has been one of the reasons why educators do not choose teaching as a profession. Furthermore, increased debt, we've been talking about retention, increased debt can decrease retention rates as individuals have to take second jobs sometimes to pay off their student loans. We recognize the significant financial barriers to a career in education. We also recognize the impact of not having a teacher who's licensed in the classroom, the impact on students, the impact on families, the impact on communities. We really are thrilled that our state values education, and we really recognize that you guys have done a lot of work to create teacher pathways, grow your own, special education pipeline, student teaching grants. Those are really critically important, and we hope they will continue. To extend these initiatives, Dr. Shelley Nielsen Gaddy and I have written several federal grants, and so we've sought that external funding to remove those financial barriers. In 2001, we submitted a Teacher Quality Partnership, a TQP grant, and we received $2.8 million for that grant. It was to create a residency pathway for charter schools, because charter schools have a lot of unlicensed teachers, and that grant allowed charter schools to provide a living wage stipend and remove that financial barrier for elementary and special educators, and that was a 5-year grant. The grant that President Fisher just talked about, we received in 2023, a Supporting Effective Educator, a SEED grant. Through that grant, we got $6.8 million, and we were thrilled because that grant provides scholarships for over 300 elementary and special educators, and that was a 3-year grant. In February, we received the email that our president talked about and a subsequent email, and both of those grants were terminated. What the termination email said is that we were inconsistent with the current administrator's priorities, specifically DEI. I want to let you know when we wrote those grants, we were required to meet the previous administrator's priorities. And some of those priorities included language such as focus on promoting educator diversity, prepare educators to create inclusive, equitable, unbiased learning environments. So we wrote to the letter of what was being required in those grants. I want to talk about what those terminations mean for us. For our TQP grant, the termination means we have residents in charter schools who have abruptly had their living wage stipend reimbursements halted. For year 2 of our SEED grant, we're only in the 2nd year of the grant, we were only able to award $700,000 of the planned $2 million impacting scholarships for students in 3 career pathways. We heard about the pathway today, about the apprenticeship, which the University of St. Thomas received a planning grant, and we are in the planning phases for a future apprenticeship. But we have other really innovative pathways that we've created because we need many pathways to fill these critical needs. This halt in our SEED grant will impact scholarships to candidates in our teacher residency programs, and those are currently with St. Paul Public Schools, Minneapolis Public Schools, and a consortium of charter schools. The SEED grant being halted will also impact scholarships for students in our Work and Learn program, where similar to the apprenticeship, we have employed paraprofessionals and educators in schools working full-time, and those districts that we work with in our Work and Learn program are throughout the state. This halt will also impact our undergrad pathway. We've been working on moving into the undergrad pathway to try as hard as we can to fill these critical shortage needs. We have juniors who we told we would fund them for 2 years, and now with this grant halted, they don't know what to do about their senior year. They were planning on the scholarships. We did provide a handout for you just with a little information about the SEED grant, the first one that was terminated for us. Our SEED grant has funded hundreds of educators from 80 communities across Minnesota, not just the Twin Cities area. 48% of the individuals do work in Minneapolis and St. Paul, but the other 40% are in our suburbs and outside of the metro area. Furthermore, the SEED grant provides scholarships to individuals who mirror the demographics of the communities in which Minnesota serves. About 60% of the scholarships that we provided were to individuals who identify as white, and 40% represent the other communities. The abrupt termination of our grant leaves our candidates having really difficult decisions to make. Am I going to be able to afford this education that I got started here? We are hoping that, that we'll be able to find ways to provide them some opportunities to receive some money so they don't leave us with great debt. But right now we're in a crucial phase of just trying to make sense of what all of this is doing. Currently, we are recruiting students for that next round. We have over 100 applicants for our upcoming residency programs, and we recruited them thinking that we were going to have scholarships to help them, and now those scholarships have been halted. So this lack of federal funding, we don't know how that's going to impact our upcoming cohorts and our ability to continue to move forward and educate teachers. We came today because we wanted you to be aware of what's going on at the federal level and how it's impacting our state. Our state has been really good to educators, investing in educators, and we hope that will continue to happen. I want to thank you for taking the time to hear about what's happening at our university, and I'd like to introduce Justin Jones, one of the teacher residents in our Minneapolis St. Thomas residency program, who will speak to you now.
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee. Thank you so much for taking some time to hear about the importance of this program. I'm Justin Jones. I'm a single parent with 2 children who both attend Minneapolis Public Schools. I have a bachelor's in dance from NYU and worked as a professional dancer in New York City and in Minneapolis. And like many other artists, I needed work to make ends meet. I took a job teaching and quickly discovered that I love it. I taught dance and preschool in private settings for 20 years. In 2023, I started work in public schools as a special education assistant at Wyndham Elementary School. Shortly thereafter, I learned about the Minneapolis St. Thomas residency or Grow Your Own program and was immediately interested. Before learning about the MSTR Grow Your Own program, graduate school was out of reach financially and logistically. I'm a single parent of 2 children. I live paycheck to paycheck on a teacher's pay. Taking on student loan debt was too risky, and attending classes outside of a full-time work schedule was unsustainable. What stood out about the MSTR Grow Your Own program was the promise that my tuition was fully funded, free. I heard another person this morning, an apprentice, say, I thought it was a scam. I had a similar feeling when I heard about this being free. I was like, are you kidding? And it's actually free. It would allow me to continue working and getting paid. The classes were scheduled during weekday work hours, and to top it off, it was just 15 months long, meaning I would be entering the workforce with my Tier 3 special education ABS license and a master's in education in just over a year. Given my economic conditions, this program provided a pathway I needed to build a financially stable future for my family, and I was elated when I was accepted. I'm currently just a little more than halfway through my course of study, and in that time I've learned highly relevant material, well designed to prepare me for a career in special education. I've learned high leverage practices to increase student engagement and performance, strategies for literacy and math intervention, the nuances of special education due process. I've also studied the ways in which schools have underserved Black, Brown, Indigenous, and other students of color, and strategies to improve their outcomes, those students who are often overrepresented in special education. Additionally, I'm in a diverse cohort of teacher residents who have generously shared their own experiences in schools, and their insights guide the way I teach the minoritized learners in my classroom. Perhaps the most unique element of the teacher residency model is that, in conjunction with my studies, I'm working as a special education teacher at Anthony Middle School in South Minneapolis, alongside a dedicated mentor teacher for the whole school year. This gives me ample opportunity to learn by doing and to apply concepts covered in my classes with real students, real kids. On top of it all, the schedule makes space for me to care for and support my own family while mostly keeping up with my coursework. All this is made possible by a variety of state and federal grants, including the federal seed grant we talked about before, which has been rescinded, the Minnesota Teacher Residency Grant, the Special Education Teacher Pipeline Program, and Grow Your Own grants. I was also the recipient of a Minnesota Student Teacher Grant just this last fall. However, because St. Thomas's federal seed grant was rescinded by the current administration, I will no longer be able to complete the program without taking on debt. I will need to take out loans to cover some of my remaining tuition. As I've said, I live paycheck to paycheck, supporting 2 kids, and I'm shocked and disappointed to find myself facing unexpected financial hardship as the cost of living continues to rise. I am so thankful for every bit of funding, guidance, and mentorship I've received so far, and cannot wait to serve my city as a special education teacher with a stable, well-paying career that I am passionate about. I thank the committee for your time and consideration, and I urge you to continue to support the Grow Your Own Minneapolis-St. Thomas Residency Program and other similar programs. They are a vital part of removing barriers many passionate educators like myself face when trying to earn a master's degree or a teacher's license, and they deserve continued vigorous funding from the great progressive state of Minnesota. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, you, for sharing your story and the work that you're doing to get yourself fully educated and trained to do the really hard work of making sure the needs of really unique students are met. We have Senator Maye Quade. Would you like to make a comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you all so much for being here. Proud Tommy. My purple served many purposes today. I'm very proud of that. But a long time ago, a class of 08. And Justin, I want to thank you for sharing your story. I think I'm just sitting here with a little bit of, I don't know what's going to happen, and you're one person. And I think coming into this hearing today, I think I thought there was one grant, and now I'm hearing that there's two. I have a few questions, but I think maybe the first one is, are you all anticipating that there's other grants you're going to lose? If yes, for what and how much? And I guess I'm just struggling with how are we going to, we can't fill this gap as a state. And so I just want to know what's going to happen to various things.
President?
Yes, Madam Chair and Senator. It's a good question. We're paying very close attention. It's been a little bit hard to predict. We didn't anticipate that the SEED grant was going to be vulnerable. And again, as my colleagues explained, more grants are potentially vulnerable because the criteria that allowed them to be successful a couple of years ago are now evidence that they should be canceled given the situation we face today. So what we're trying to do when we're reaching out to federal officials and we're exploring appeals is just asking for opportunities to show that grants can be brought into compliance with the new administration's priorities and requirements, right? We understand that some of those priorities and requirements change with new administrations. We don't, for example, think that the need for more special ed teachers has changed from one administration to the other. But are there other grants that are vulnerable given what happened to the SEED grant? Yes, but it doesn't go to the essence of the grants, I would say.
Follow up. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I think one thing that's coming to mind, I think because the emails canceling grants or the way that it gets talked about is, DEI, but it's really segregation and censorship is the goal. And DEIA is the whole acronym, and accessibility is part of that. And I think that's maybe why this got canceled, is because the A in DEIA is accessibility, and that's what special education is. It's literally accessibility. I want to hear a little bit about, so I think, Justin, you're working in Minneapolis Public Schools right now. Yeah. If you're not able to complete your program, what happens to, you're working with a teacher right now, are you able to keep doing that? Do you have to go back to a different job? And then possibly for Dr. Stansberry Brusnahan, did I say that correctly? The other folks who are placed, how many folks are placed in other school districts? What happens to them? Do they, obviously this role that they're in is meant to be intermediary, right? It's on your way to becoming something. And so what happens to their roles in these schools?
Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Madam Senator and Senator, for your question. I think one thing that's really fortunate for me is timing. And like I said, I'm just about halfway through this program. So I'm anticipating the level of student loan debt that I'll need to take on is not something that's going to prevent me from completing the program. However, I feel like that's really just luck of the draw and luck of my situation and me, looking at what I can and cannot do in the future. I haven't thought about what it would look like if I couldn't finish the program, but imagining if I couldn't, I would most likely return to an SEA position, a lower paid position where I'd be working more in a support role and not as a lead teacher.
And any other comment?
I'm going to defer to Shelley. We came together, but I read the thing that we put together.
All right, Ms. Nielsen-Getty?
Good morning. I also work with Lynn at the University of St. Thomas, Shelley Nielsen-Gaddy. And one of the reasons we wanted to acknowledge the state contribution to education is that our state legislature has done quite a bit to fund teacher pathways, and we appreciate that. Most of our students have what I would call braided funding. So while the SEED funding was the biggest contribution to their tuition and fees, they also receive some other funding. Justin mentioned the student teaching grant. The Minneapolis Public Schools uses state Grow Your Own funding to pay for their residency salary while they're a resident teaching alongside a mentor teacher. And so that Grow Your Own money is really essential to this particular model. And then we also have a Minnesota teacher residency grant that also provided scholarships for our teacher residents. And if we think about our work and learn students, they also receive some special education pipeline money. And so the importance of sharing the responsibility of the financial burden to be a teacher across our federal, our state, and foundation, and then our districts and our university also contribute is really important, so that the sole responsibility of footing the financial burden doesn't fall on the candidate only, that we all have a role and we all have a shared responsibility around that finance, I think is a really important piece. We sought federal funds around scholarships so that we didn't have to use as much state money, that state money could go around to more candidates. We heard this morning the significant need in our intermediate districts, and that need across the state is huge. And so by adding this financial federal support, it allows us to extend that state money to even more candidates to help us fill that pathway. Your second question about what do we do with all our other candidates? So our SEED money mostly paid for the scholarships for those individuals for up to, as you saw in our handout there, up to nearly 300 students already receiving some SEED financial support. With our Teacher Quality Partnership, our TQP grant, that federal money does not allow for scholarships, and it did require us to use our federal money for what we call living wage stipend. It was basically for our charter schools who have more Tiered 1 teachers than other public districts. That was mostly to use those to pay for our residents to teach alongside our mentor teacher. So we heard a little bit this morning about the importance of year-long experiences and also year-long experiences teaching alongside a prepared mentor teacher so that they're not learning how to teach in a sink or swim kind of way where you just go out and teach and try it out, that our candidates are teaching alongside a prepared mentor teacher. They're learning about teaching with that person alongside and getting feedback and coaching and practice every single day in school communities with students with and without disabilities, which is a really important part of that. And that TQP grant allowed us to pay our charter school residents to do that work every single day for the academic school year. Without the second half of our TQP grant, we are in year 5 of our TQP grant. We're about 6 months away from finishing up that grant. About $600,000, and what we're gonna figure that out. We're working with our charter schools. We're having meetings this week. We'll look at multiple funding sources, donors, finance from the districts, what they can do to hire individuals to continue their student teaching experience and finish out being a special education teacher for Minnesota schools.
Follow-up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate that, and I think my biggest fear is that we're gonna have a bunch of teachers who don't have that had a living wage and then won't have a living wage, and I'm afraid that as we create more in one place, we're gonna be losing them in other places because that braided funding, we're losing a pretty big strand there. And I know other folks have questions.
Thank you. Senator Rarick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You made the comment that when you initially wrote the application for the grant, you met the demands of that current administration. Have you been given any opportunities to re-look at your program, resubmit an application that meets the standards of this current administration in order to keep those grants in place?
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, Senator, the first communication we received was the termination notice, and there hasn't been any follow-up communication that I'm aware of, and we would welcome the opportunity.
So you, just to be clear, you haven't there's no one that you can contact, the federal government, somebody has not responded to your inquiries?
Yeah, the termination letter included language about being able to appeal the decision, and so we're exploring that opportunity as well as reaching out to various elected officials in Washington, and so far that has not borne any fruit.
Thank you. Any follow-up?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I guess I was going to go down that line of checking to see if there are opportunities to make tweaks to the program to meet the needs of the current administration. It was my understanding that was the intent of it, is to make changes, not to just pull funding, but I would be happy to have some of those conversations. I guess we're crossing over with higher ed a lot here as well, but I guess one of the things that I just see here as we look at what we heard this morning, one of the things that we have a lot of crossover of programmings. This seems very similar to, the apprenticeship program that we just listened to, and I think sometimes we do not operate as efficiently as we could when we have so many different programs all trying to do the very same thing. And I think another comment that was made earlier, about how private institutions could have much more harm done by some of the federal programming. I also would believe that the way the North Star Promise was rolled out, not including the private institutions, we had that very same thing here at the state level, and I kind of wonder, I'm assuming Mr. Jones, with some of the few parameters around the North Star Promise, you probably wouldn't have qualified because this, we said 20 years already in other programming, but I think a lot of students in the program would probably have qualified under North Star Promise if they were not at a private institution. We could have some filling of the gaps. So I think it's something that we don't do a lot of that in these areas where, these cross conversations between committees, but I've noticed my time serving on education, finance now, and higher ed, there is so much crossover between the two committees. There really needs to be more communication between them about all of the different programs and how we could potentially consolidate them when many programs are trying to do the exact same things.
Thank you. We have two other people that wanted to make a comment, and we're out of time. We still need to question or comment.
Just a quick one, actually, Madam Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't really have a question much, maybe just more of a request. And there's a lot of talk about the email, and I know it's a short time frame from when you had the email to reacting to it. So, and then you talked about some other programs where you're concerned about losing funding. So if I could get an email or get that email forwarded to the committee, if we could see that, and then also what other, maybe just a short synopsis on what the program is, excuse me, what the program is, the dollars affected, and then how you perceive any future action on that. I think that would benefit the committee quite a bit. That's all I had, Madam Chair.
Okay, if you want to follow up, and Senator Lang, this is the program right here.
Yeah, I saw the handout. I think it's maybe missing some specifics on what I think the committee could use, so thanks.
Okay, Senator Clark.
Thank you, Chair Kunich. Thank you, presenters. President, I assume you're setting budgets right now for next year? Is that a correct assumption?
Mr. President?
That's correct.
My question is this. When you're going through this, how many jobs is this at St. Thomas? And in part, I'm thinking my business career, if I'm uncertain on what's happening in my budget, I'm not hiring. Have you examined the number of jobs this may cost St. Thomas?
No, for Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Senator, for the grant cancellations so far, these were really student-funded grants, so we don't see any impact on the workforce. In general, though, St. Thomas has more than 1,500 full-time employees, and it's a major economic engine. We create almost $1 billion of economic activity annually in the state. So aside from the student well-being, which is always front and center for us, we are also a major employer for the state of Minnesota, and so we try to be wise stewards of the resources. But as the investments in the public's the investments in the privates, including St. Thomas, have a significant multiplier effect out in the broader community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Kunish. Thank you, President. I guess part of my point in this, it's the chaos of just the waste of time that you have to have in this, and the waste of time and how we then, how my kids go to Minneapolis Public as well, and the waste of time that Minneapolis then has to think about, all right, are we going to have someone in the pipeline to get, I'm going to now have to search again. So I would not recommend that you underestimate the amount of time that this is taking you to understand how do we do all this. Thank you, Chair Kunish.
Thank you. Thank you all. I really appreciate everybody that came today to help us understand the incredible work that's being done across the state to meet the needs, of course, of our unique students. The time, the energy, the funding. Yes, there are a lot of programs that intersect across the way, and someday it would be lovely to get us all organized in a way that is the most efficient. But in the meantime, just really appreciate the thought and the effort that our higher ed partners are working towards making sure that we have highly skilled, highly educated, well-trained, empathetic teachers in our school districts. And so very much appreciate all of that. Members, we will not be here tomorrow. There's no hearing tomorrow, but Thursday is Library Day. So come with a smile on your face. And with that, we are adjourned.